This is the video tutorial for the Happy Days Launa laundry bag. Ideal for popping in your suitcase when you go on holiday. You'll need fabric for the lining, fabric for the outer, some cord or ribbon and 2 toddles. And this is how you make it. We're going to start by making the lining. Place your 2 lining fabrics right sides together, line up the sides and edges and add some clips. I've added my clips and my gap sign at the bottom, and now I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to sew along this side and stop, along to my gap sign and stop, start again this side of the gap sign and stop, and then back up to the top and stop. I've sewn all along one side, along the bottom, remembering to leave my gap for turning later, and I've sewn all along this side, and I've also snipped my corners for a neater finish when we turn it. And now I'm going to put it to one side while we work on the outer. We're working on the outer fabrics now. Place your 2 outer fabrics right sides together, so pretty side to pretty side. Line up all the edges and sides. If you're using directional fabric, this will be the top of your bag. Measure 6 centimetres from the top edge and make a mark. Measure 8 centimetres from the edge and make a mark. And this side exactly the same. Measure 6 centimetres and make a mark, and measure 8 centimetres and make a mark. Now add clips all the way around. I've added my clips along the long side, along the bottom and up the side. And now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine. I use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to start sewing here at the top, and when I reach the first line we drew, I'm going to stop and back stitch. Then I'm going to leave a gap, and then at the next line I'm going to start again, do another back stitch for extra strength, and then sew all the way down to the bottom and stop, along the bottom, stop, and then back up until you get to this line and stop and back stitch and leave your gap, start again here and back stitch until you get to the top and stop. I've sewn all the way around, remembering to leave my gap either side for the channeling, and I've also snipped the corners. I've turned it the right way out and I've pressed it, and I'm now going to put this inside the lining. I'm placing the outer, which is turned the right way, inside the lining, which is still turned the wrong way. I've tucked the outer inside the lining, and I've lined up all the top edges and the side seams, and I've also added some clips. I'm now going to take it over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew all the way around, joining the outer and the lining together. I've sewn all the way around, joining the lining and the outer together. I'm now going to turn it the right way out through the gap I left at the bottom. I'm going to turn in the raw edges and add some clips. And now I'm going to sew right across. We're now marking the lines for the channeling. Take your ruler and measure from this edge 4 centimetres and make a mark. From this edge measure 7 centimetres and make a mark. Over on this side, from this edge measure 4 centimetres and make a mark. Measure 7 centimetres from this edge and make a mark, and then join the 2 marks up as I've done with a ruler. Then turn it over and do exactly the same for the other side. I've drawn my lines all the way around, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and I'm going to sew carefully all along each line. I'm only going through the 2 pieces of fabric, not all the way through. And as we sew, we're forming the channeling for our cord. I've ironed out my lines and I've added my cord to the end of a safety pin. And I'm going to start threading through the gap I left at the side. I started this side, went all the way around and came back out this side. I've added my toggle and I've tied a knot. Now I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to do it from this side. I've added my toggle to the other side and tied a knot, and that's your Launa laundry bag all finished.